Boa noite, pessoal. Boa noite.
Boa noite.
Na verdade, eu sou um turista aqui, né? Eu fiquei muito honrado com esse convite da Maira. Quando eu falei para meus colegas de trabalho, para minha família, que eu estava vindo para um congresso de neurociência, ninguém entendeu nada, né?
Agora pegou de vez.
Nem eu entendi direito, mas na verdade, assim, essa história, ela começou. Eu vou contar um pouquinho para vocês como que eu vim parar aqui, que eu acho interessante essa história, e eu vou colocar apenas algumas ideias de pensamentos que também me trouxeram até aqui. Eu estava fazendo a minha tese de mestrado no Instituto de Matemática e Estatística, na USP, e esse instituto ele tem uma característica muito especial. Ele tem um fato que aconteceu lá e que tornou aquele lugar muito especial, pelo menos para mim é muito especial, e acredito que para os alunos que lá estudam também. No ano de 2004, mais ou menos... Oi? Pode ser. Do you prefer that I present in English? Yes? Okay, I will try to do it. So, I study in the University of São Paulo. I did my master there, and in 2004, it was created there by a professor called Valdemar Setzer. He created a course of dramatics lectures or theater. So this professor in the computer science department proposed that the department had a course, regular course of theater inside the computer science course. It was a complete strange thing at the beginning, and I was one of the guys who did this course of theater. It's just 6 months of theater, and you study, you read texts, you do some scenes with your friends, and I started to do this course, and I loved it, and it opened a lot of things. I started to do theater in my life and to learn things from theater. And what happens is that all the students who made this course after the course of theater started to behave completely different. So this is incredible for computer science students who are mostly shy people, very the ordinary nerd who stays the whole day in the computer. So some of them went to this course and they were very shy, but as they begin to play with the teacher, they started to speak in the classes, to ask more questions, and a lot of things happened there. And this course is there till now. So there were more than 20 regular courses of that, and I wrote in my master thesis a small. I did some experiments, or I asked for some of old students to answer me questions about this course and how their life changed after they did this course. So my master thesis at the beginning, so I studied in the University of São Paulo computer science. So the normal students do some tests about algorithms or mathematical proofs about something, and I wanted to do something different, something more related to the human aspects of the computer science. So how, because I work with computers, so I'm a manager, developer manager in Localweb, which is one of the biggest internet company here in Brazil. So we have more than 120 employees just in the technology department. So the whole company has 600 people, but the technology department has 120 engineers. So to develop a software is a very complex thing. So it's very difficult to join people and to make teams, to create teams, to develop software. If you are alone in your home, in your house, you are a programmer, and you want to do a small program by yourself, it's okay. You can do with your machine, and it's over. But if you need to create more complex systems and distributed systems, and you need a team which has to communicate, people has to talk with each other. So the old nerd in the computer that don't speak with his friends will be in a very serious problem if he don't have the skills of communications and more relationships of feelings. So he don't know how to deal with his feelings and all these things because he's all the time in the machine, dealing with the machines, and the way we deal with machines is completely different than the way we deal with human beings. So this was the beginning of my work, and I started to write a thesis. And in my thesis, I started to find similar ideas between computer science, programming, and the arts. So I went to theater, and I went to many references in computer science. Even a single person, famous person in computer science, which talks about arts, I'll go there and try to understand what do he mean by arts in computer science. So I brought some of these ideas for you, and then in the end, I did my master thesis presentation. I created a play, and my master thesis presentation wasn't presenting some algorithm or some usual presentation. It was a play which I brought two more actors to act with me and to explain everything that I did explain in my text. I did a small piece, and I will show you there after this talk. 20 minutes of this video, which were my master thesis presentation, and there are English subtitles for you. Okay, and so one of the people, when did everything began? So this is ACM. Maybe you don't know ACM, but ACM is for computer science the most respected magazine of scientific magazine of computers. So this magazine began in 1965, 70, more or less, I don't know. But one of the first editions of this magazine, there were a small text which vou falar em português, and then I'll translate. Se a programação de computadores irá se tornar uma área importante na pesquisa e desenvolvimento da arte, desenvolvimento da computação, uma transição de arte para a ciência deve ser feita. Ou seja, what is telling here is if computer programming is going to become something important in researches and development in development of the computers, so there has to be a transition between the art to the science. What is this? In that time, in 1965, computer science was an art, wasn't a science. In that time, there were not computers, so there wasn't computers in the world, and everything about computer science, and the magazine, the computer science magazine, was trying make a transition between what were the computer science. So arts took science, so they became science in that time. But before it was an art. So where do art comes? The word art. The word art comes from Latin ars, which means habilidade or ability. So you know how to do things, the way you know how to do things. And from Greek, techno, the root of the word art in Greek is techno, which means technology or technica, technique. In that time, in the Middle Age, there was no difference between art and science. Art and science was the same thing. Art and science. So in that time, there were the liberal science or the liberal arts, which were grammatics, rhetoric, logic, arithmetic, geometry, music, and astronomy. So these were the arts or the science in that time, and there were no difference between science and art. So, for example, just for a quote, a small quote. So there are books about piano, for example. So I have books about piano. So the name of the book is The Art of Piano Playing, or The Art of Playing the Pianoforte. The pianoforte. But there is also the science of pianoforte technique. So these are books about piano. And there is also the art of piano playing, a scientific approach. So these were all titles of learning piano, books which teaches you how to play the piano. And some quotes in computer science world. So Richard Gabriel, one of the guys who inspired me, because he was one of the guys who told that if you want to become a good computer scientist, you need to study arts and you need to write poetry. So writing poetry is a way to become a better programmer. So I started to write poetry after I read his article, and then last year I wrote a book which was delivered last year, a book about poetry. I'm not the biggest poet of the world, but it was my study. Meanwhile, I wrote my master thesis. I started to write this book, and Richard Gabriel says that every programmer needs to be trained